Hi friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I am Shannon and this is One Spark of Magic. And today, the day I am filming this, today is my birthday. Happy birthday me. But I thought what better way to do this than to celebrate the birthday of our nation, as it is going to be July 4th in just a couple of days. So we're going to be spending our day here in Liberty Square, and we're going to be starting it off with some scrumptious food from Liberty Tree Tavern. I'm not sure how well the audio is going to pick up here, but this is a all-you-care-to-enjoy dinner or lunch buffet. They bring everything to your table in family style, and they start off with some bread service and some salad. So that's already been brought to our table, so we're going to go ahead and munch in on that. So the salad is served with a nice light vinaigrette dressing on it. It's very tasty. The salad itself is kind of basic. It's really just lettuce and craisins and some cheese. I was here probably a year, maybe two ago. The salad had like tomatoes and cucumbers and onions. And this one does not. So it's a little too basic for me, but it's the salad portion. We're not here to eat salad. We're here for the big portion. All right, so let's try this bread. Now, the bread looks delicious. However, it's not served with any butter. That's kind of weird. The bread is basically a Hawaiian street roll, and it's good, but it's missing butter. It needs something else. Can't just eat a big giant roll like this without any butter on it. I mean, the whole purpose of eating bread is to deliver your butter, right? Well, because we are celebrating both my birthday today and July 4th, America's birthday, I also got a glass of champagne. All right, our main course has gotten here. So what they serve you here is basically your traditional Thanksgiving dinner. So you're gonna have your turkey, your pork, your roast beef, mashed potatoes, stuffing, green beans, macaroni and cheese, and they give you the biggest ladle of gravy, and it looks delicious. And I think that will be what we use to eat our bread because we don't have butter. Now, again, as I said earlier, I was here a couple years ago, and the salad looked better, the bread looked better, and it was served with butter. And I'm going to be very honest with you, this plate of food does not look the most appetizing. But we're going to give it a shot. Maybe looks are deceiving, and we're going to dig in here. So we're going to start with the mac and cheese because it's mac and cheese. Who can say no to mac and cheese? Well, if I was our forefathers out fighting for the freedom of our people and our country, I would not be writing home to my spouse about this mac and cheese. The flavor of it isn't awful, but it is very watered down. It doesn't have a super cheesy flavor. It tastes very cheap, and again, there's just not a lot of flavor to it. It doesn't even have cheese flavor. It feels like they put in way too much water for Kraft mac and cheese. And I love Kraft mac and cheese, but I put too much water or too much milk in there, it's going to dilute the flavor. And that's basically what this is. And they don't have salt and pepper on the table. So this is a major pass for me as somebody that loves mac and cheese, and even the cheap kind. So before I gross anybody out with regards to this, I love to pour gravy all over everything, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try everything without the gravy first, and then I'll devour it and disgust everybody with putting gravy on everything. But we're going to start off with this pot roast. Okay, so the pot roast is actually really tender. There's not a ton of flavor, but there is some. There's definitely some salt and like pepper, your basic flavors, which is all really pot roast needs. It's not the greatest quality of meat for this pot roast, but again, it's tender and juicy, so I'm not going to complain about it. So let's try this turkey. All right, so after one bite of turkey, again, I don't have gravy on anything. It's a little dry, but not bad. It's not the worst I've ever had in that regard. Turkey can be a little bit on the drier side. But I was eating it, and tastes a little bit on the processed side, not fully lunch meat, but almost like the boar's head turkey breast that you can buy for Thanksgiving and just like heat them up and carve it. Like it kind of tastes like that, but without as much flavor. It does have a flavor, and I can't really pick it out. And it's not a normal like carved turkey. Now we're gonna try the last meat that's on this plate, which is gonna be pork, and it's looking a little sus. Okay, I'm seeing a trend here. A little on the dry side, not extremely dry, not the driest pork I've ever had, but not a ton of flavor, but yet a littlest bit of flavor. It's like they tried, but they tried not to make it too much. All right, so we're iffy on the meats here. I'm gonna try all the sides and then give you my review after I've tried everything. Okay, I have officially tried all of the sides now. The mashed potatoes, those are full of flavor. They're nice and creamy and delicious, and they have a lot of flavor. This is going to sound like a knock, but it's not. It tastes like the instant potatoes that you can get, like, and just like add water to it, but the flavored ones, like, and I mean that just in the sense of how much flavor it has in it. It's very nice, like garlicky butter flavor to it. The stuffing, again, is a little on the dry side, but not super dry. Nothing that I would necessarily complain about. Be good with some gravy on top. Again, has a little bit of flavor, but not enough. It's on par with everything else that's on the dish. Green beans, very good, nice and crisp, cooked perfectly. And they have a nice salty flavor to them. So, mashed potatoes and green beans, full of flavor. Oh, I forgot. There's also cranberry sauce here. The cranberry sauce was nice and tart. Just a teensy bit of sweetness to it, but very tart. Will be very good on the turkey. That was also very good. So, seems to me that the best things here are the mashed potatoes and green beans. But now I'm going to douse everything in gravy, and I'll get back with you on my review of that. All right, everything was more delicious with the gravy on it. The gravy didn't have like a ton of flavor, but just enough to like knock it over the edge to being good, and it gave a little bit more of that juiciness and moisture. So all the meats were better with the gravy. Mashed potatoes didn't need anything, but it also did help with the stuffing. But now we're on to the best part of this meal, which if this is still as good as the last time, then it's worth it, because this toffee cake is so good. So that's coming up next.
Sprinkles on the toffee cake for you and a candle for your birthday. Happy birthday! Thank you so much!
Oh, look at this. They even put a candle on top with sprinkles for my birthday. All right, here's my wish. But no, I can't tell you what it was, because then it won't come true. However, what I can tell you about is this toffee cookie. I'm ready to dig in. Oh, and the sprinkles are little Mickeys. That's so cute. All right, first we're going to try a little bit of this whipped cream and ice cream with the caramel and chocolate and sprinkles. All right, so good, and we haven't even gotten to the toffee part. All right, now we're ready to try this toffee cookie. It is so good. This is almost as good as I remember it. The cookie is so moist and so gooey and ooey and wonderful. I mean, I don't know if you can even tell. You probably can't. But this is just gooiness galore. It is so decadent. I'm really glad that they serve it with a vanilla bean ice cream, which is delicious, balancing out the sweetness, and it's just so good. The only thing that I would say is not as good as the last time I had this. So this is served in the skillet like this. And when I was here last time, this was warm, so the toffee itself, the toffee cookie, was hot. That made the ice cream melt faster, but it made the dish better. And it is missing that aspect. Like, the cookie isn't cold, but it's not hot either. So thank you so much. But it's still delicious and still gooey and ooey and wonderful. All right, so we just finished up at the Liberty Tree Tavern. Now, I wanted to give you guys a couple of little tidbits and fun facts about that. So when you eat there are several different rooms throughout the restaurant, and they're all named after different iconic, historic people of America, including George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Betsy Ross, and the list goes on. Now, we got to sit in the Jefferson room, but I took a look around and got to see all the different things that are in there for all the different people. In the room for Betsy Ross, they even had a stool that was there, and it had the original flag that you could see. So everything is themed to those people and those different rooms. So it's quite interesting, and there's so much to see and do in there. And I love just the aesthetics of it, if nothing else. And the food, yeah, today was a little mediocre, but last time I was there, it was like the most delicious thing I've ever had. So the one consistent thing about Disney dining is that it's inconsistent. So just keep that in mind. It may not be the same as when I'm there today. I still think it is worth it to go there, even though today was not as good as I've always remembered it being. But I will say that the food generally is really good there, and that dessert is to die for. Now, I would suggest this more for maybe nighttime versus middle of the day, because it's so hot and having all that heavy food in you may not be the best idea. But for dinner, when you're getting ready to cool down and wind down for the night, might be a little bit better for you and your family. The good thing is that you can reorder anything you want that's on that plate. So if you have a kid that only wants to eat the mac and cheese, don't worry, you can order just another thing of mac and cheese and keep that coming until they're nice and full. However, if there's anything that you don't like on the plate, you can also suggest them to not even have it on there, and they will be happy to take that off. If you do have allergies, let them know, and they'll make sure that your food is plated accordingly if there is anything that you're allergic to that is on there. Now we're going to continue our celebration of my birthday and America's birthday by spending a couple more hours here in Liberty Square. First thing I want to do was just to point out a couple of fun facts, because I have my glasses on, which means History Nerd is here. So before we continue on celebrating my birthday and America's birthday, we are going to give a couple of nerdy, that's why the glasses are on, Disney and history facts. So over here in Liberty Square, this is obviously for the colonial times, and everything is themed here accordingly. You will notice that there are no bathrooms here in the entire land. Why? Because bathrooms did not exist back then, because we did not have indoor plumbing. And so therefore the Imagineers wanted to keep it true to that time period. Now you may say to me, Shannon, I know there are bathrooms inside a Liberty Tree Tavern that you just ate at, and that's in Liberty Square. You are correct, there are bathrooms inside of that building. However, the bathrooms are located on the second story, far back in the building, so far back that they're actually in Adventureland. And the bathrooms that are located in Columbia Harbor House are also located so far back into the restaurant that they're actually in Fantasyland. Speaking of bathrooms, if you're walking through Liberty Square, make sure to take a look down, because the floor will also show you the time period. As you'll walk through, you'll see these beautiful brown marbles just lining the inside of the walkway, and it just kind of looks like a stream going through Liberty Square. Well, that's because that is supposed to represent what they did with their stuff, because they didn't have bathrooms. You get my drift. Another one of my really fun things here is the Liberty Tree. Now this Liberty Tree is supposed to represent the original Liberty Tree, which the Sons of Liberty used to gather at before the Boston Tea Party. There are a couple of fun facts that surround this. First of all, as you look around the tree, you will see that there are 13 different lanterns. Now these are to represent the 13 original colonies. Now this tree may have been moved here to Liberty Square, but it was still on Disney property. This tree was actually located over where now Animal Kingdom is. Now Walt, or maybe one of the other ones, but it's been rumored to be Walt himself, saw this tree and said that is the perfect tree for Liberty Square. So he had his team go out there and move that 135-year-old tree and move it over here to be in Liberty Square. In front of the Liberty Tree, you will find the Liberty Bell. And now this, of course, is a replica. The original is in Philadelphia. However, there were 50 replicas made, and there's supposed to be one for each of the 50 states. However, since Pennsylvania was already home to the original, Disney contacted them, and they were given the replica by Pennsylvania themselves in 1989, and it lives here with its home in Liberty Square. Therefore, Florida is the only state with 2 Liberty Bells. Now, as you're over here checking out the Liberty Bell replica, Don't forget to take a look at the flags around it. Now, this is called the Court of Flags. Now, these flags here represent the original 13 colonies that then became the first 13 states when it became the United States. Now, of course, there is a flag here for each of those 13 colonies and original states, and there's also a replica of the original United States flag. Also, while you're walking around Liberty Square, take a look around at all of the buildings that surround you. Now, you'll see that the architecture and design of each of the buildings will start to change, and you'll see different things according to it. And you also see numbers associated with those buildings. Those numbers and the designs are directly connected. So you see a number, you add an 18 to the front of it, and that will be a replica of that year's architectural design and structures. Now, as you walk through, you might notice that a couple of the shutters might be a little bit on the crooked side. It may look like they're being hung up by maybe leather. Well, that's because they're supposed to be representing that. They are actually held up with metal so that way that they stay in place, but they're trying to represent what it would have been like in that time period. During war times and other times of hard means, that metal that was used in that hardware for those windows was needed for ammunition. So they would actually take those off and hang up their shutters with pieces of leather. And what happens to leather when it's out in the elements? It stretches and gives, and therefore makes your shutters crooked. All right, so I think that is enough of the fun facts and factoids for here in Liberty Square and history and Disney and all the fun things that this nerdy girl loves. So we are gonna move on to our next celebration, and we are gonna go into the most patriotic ride and show here in the Magic Kingdom, and that is gonna be the Hall of Presidents. As I was walking up to the Hall of Presidents, I just noticed something that I never noticed before. So the building here for Hall of Presidents is actually numbered 1787 because it is the only one here in Liberty Square that doesn't begin with an 18, because it was actually designed after the 1700s. Now, when you come into the Hall of Presidents, there are a bunch of artifacts that you can also look at and explore while you're waiting for the next show. I highly recommend coming here and seeing all this. If you love history at all, there are some pieces that are only here at Disney, and it's really kind of cool, some of the things that they have gifted to them to be able to have out for the public to be able to see anytime that they're here at Disney. So we're gonna go take a little bit of a montage of everything that we have here.
This program is dedicated to the memory of Walt Disney. In 1971, his love for America inspired the creation of the Hall of Presidents, a place to celebrate the optimism and goodwill he saw at the heart of the American story. Walt's vision was to honor the nation by honoring the American presidency.
It is 1783, and the smoke is clearing in the wake of the Revolutionary War. Over the course of 8 grinding years, General George Washington has led a force of shopkeepers, farmers, and Native American allies to victory over the greatest military power in the world. A leader not born to power like a king or queen. A leader who has not seized power through conquest. A leader not separate from the people, but elected by the people, from among the people. We, the people. This is a new idea, an American idea. The idea of a president. George Washington's stature and bearing have marked him as a leader. His integrity has made him a great one. Washington knows that many generals who have led successful revolutions make themselves dictators or kings. Instead, he steps down from power and retires to his home, Mount Vernon. The world takes note, and George Washington becomes the symbol of American ideals. During the early years of the Republic, we choose leaders as different as Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Andrew Jackson. Elections are often bitter. Each president stands at that fiery intersection where personal character meets the challenges of the times. A house divided against itself cannot stand, he has said. With Lincoln's election, the House does indeed divide. Lincoln had come up the hard way, on the American frontier, desperately poor, with less than a year of formal schooling. His early years were scarred by tragedy, the death of his mother, his sister, his first love. He struggles with depression, but never loses his determination to rise above it. He once said he's driven by a desire to leave the world a little better place for having lived in it.
77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Roosevelt, paralyzed by polio, knows how to restore the faith of a people paralyzed by the Great Depression.
I believe in practical explanation and in practical policy.
He has found the inner strength his countrymen now need. He speaks to us like a friend, a neighbor. His optimism is contagious. His voice perfect for the latest breakthrough medium, radio. He calls us to believe we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And we do believe.
Will outer space be developed for the benefit of all mankind? Or will it become another focus for the arms race? The choice is urgent, and it is ours to make.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
The Presidents of the United States of America. And now we come to the present. Once again, we place our trust in the idea of a president, as we have from the beginning.
My fellow citizens, no event could have filled me with greater anxieties than that notification on the 14th day of April, 1789, that you had selected me to lead our nation. But it was with the confidence of my fellow citizens that I took an oath. 35 simple words that have been repeated by every American president throughout history.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
The presidency of the United States is a role unique in the world, an office entrusted to each president by us, we the people. Therein lies the genius of that new idea, now over 200 years old. A new idea our presidents have turned into a great American idea again and again.
Okay, so we just got out of the Hall of Presidents, and I am a sucker for anything patriotic and anything historical like that just get teary-eyed every time you hear. Let me collect myself and then I'll be back with you.
If you are going to be at the Magic Kingdom anytime during July 4th or anytime during the year, and you're needing that boost of patriotism and remembrance of how blessed our country is and how blessed we are to be here, and go there, because every time I get teary-eyed. And yes, I am a person that cries during the national anthem when I'm at sporting events, and I am that person. But I love it. It goes through the whole history of our country in the sense of what the presidents were and what they did and what they went through during their presidency as well. So it's a great history lesson too for your kids, but it's also a great reminder of what we've come from and where we're going, and just the importance of everything that has to do with this country. And it's so perfect for the birthday of our country to go and see that. But on that note, happy birthday, America. Happy July 4th to all of you. I hope you guys are celebrating and having a great cookout or barbecue with your family, and having time by the pool and just being with your loved ones, and thanking the Lord for putting you in this country and celebrating all the freedoms that we have here. And I also want to say thank you so much for coming along with me today on my birthday and celebrating everything we have to do today. I really enjoyed doing this, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, I am Shannon with One Spark of Magic, and I'm wishing you life, liberty, and the pursuit of everything magical. Toodaloo.